What would you do if you could open your own sneaker store? How would you do it? All these questions and more will be answered today. Hey, what up and welcome to another episode of Creased. Now, on today's episode, what would you do if you could open your own sneaker store? How would you do it? How would you do the fit out? How would you hire staff? How would you go about finding locations? All these questions and more will be answered today. Not saying you're going to be able to do it, but we link up with Lachlan from The Good Kid, and they're opening a brand new store in Newcastle. Now, I first met these guys at their Zetland launch. They did an incredible opening for this. They had a lot of local businesses involved, and it was just such a fun event. So when I found out, I probably found out a little bit, maybe a few months ago, that they were looking at going into Newcastle, and Lachlan hit me up, got my opinion, like in terms of which store to go for, and they went for Charlestown, which was the store that I suggested, but they also probably reached out to a couple other people as well, I'm assuming. But they announced that they were going to open April 4th. And I hit him up and I was like, yo, when are you gonna like be in there trying to build the store and everything? Because I want to document it. It's an interesting insight for myself. I have been a part of store builds in my retail experience too, from memory. But this is something completely different. This isn't a big, huge corporation. This is an independent company and couple of people doing this in a couple of days. It's crazy. Let's do it.
We only just had enough time, just had enough space. We were jamming stock into like every single crevice of the vans that we hired. That's just Tetris. And I think that was fun, but we got it done. We honestly, I think, in one of the vans we had, like, it was airtight. We had little t-shirts squished into every single pocket of like opportunity. Carefully, obviously, we're protecting our stock, but.
Do you guys have a warehouse or anything, or is it just purely in the stores?
No, it's just stores. So I think our decision around that is like, we can fulfill our online fulfillment from our locations in store. We can, restock and I guess order stuff from our consigners based on what's selling and what we need. But yeah, we kind of find that works well for us. Like, we want to have the ability to have a storeroom or a big back room in our stores, and it pays for itself. Instead of having a big warehouse that
it's just extra
rent and
security.
At the moment, we're working so hard on our online space because brick and mortar's been our biggest focus, and that's kind of like where we primarily play. But now trying to spin that on its head, get our online starting to kick and turn, and then we'll just fulfill from stores, and if we get to the capacity where we feel like that's too much for our store teams, then we'll get a warehouse.
So like JD just opened up, I think they had it boarded up for like a month maybe.
Yeah.
You got in here yesterday, and you're going, which was Monday, Easter Monday.
Yeah.
And you're going to open up on Thursday.
Yeah, which shouldn't be an issue at all. I think super easy fit out, getting the stock up on the shelves, getting the racking up. And we've got a pretty clean model, and the way that we packed it down is, hopefully the way that we're going to unpack it. So, yeah, it should be a pretty simple setup. And there's just two of us as well. So, it's a two-man team for a setup to open a shop.
That's crazy.
But yeah, no, we're pretty confident that we're going to be there, and we're going to try and do something for the opening as well. So whether that's getting a DJ or, we've just launched a big giveaway as well, which is we've partnered up with a local barbershop next door, which is good. But we can already see kind of the community rallying behind us, which we're excited for as well. So we'll treat this store as its own kind of entity in the area, and give it what people are asking for as well. So continuously moving the stock, continuously feeding whatever brands are working for us, and if people are requesting stuff that we don't have, like, we'll find it, we'll put it up here and make sure that we can give people that stock. So somehow get better standing. Set up some feet. Yeah. And have it freestanding or something. They do attachments like for these particular frames from shop to shop that I can get that make it freestanding.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know what it is about it, but like, it takes away, I guess, that like, the theatre of a window. Yeah, because they're kind of just freestanding frames.
Probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
Put it there, but,
It's probably not worth doing just in case. Yeah.
Across all your stores, how many shoes do you guys have?
How many
Would you even know?
shoes do we have? Hey Charbel, how many shoes do you reckon we have across the network?
oh. Do you want to do the maths real quick?
Yeah, what do you reckon?
Quick maths.
So at Bondi alone, so all of this,
Yeah.
before like when I did the audit, about 900 pairs.
Yep.
So, and Bondi was not that big of a site.
Yeah.
I'd say probably EV has about the same amount.
Yeah.
City, Macquarie at least 2 times, Para probably 3 to 4 times that. So, what's that? What are we up to? Like 10 times 900, probably about 9,000 pairs maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, minimum.
Around there.
Yeah.
That's a conservative figure.
So I reckon,
Plus streetwear, accessories, all that stuff.
but in terms of footwear, yeah, we're looking like 10,000 units. So
That's crazy.
Something
And that's across, what, 5 stores?
currently 5.
yeah,
Yeah.
5 locations at the moment. With no plans to slow down either. Like I think for us, this is a pretty important one for us to get a little bit further away from Sydney. But then at the moment we're in discussions with 2 shopping centres in Melbourne, which are pretty, like I'd say, A-grade shopping centres, and then also in Queensland as well. We've been given
Yeah,
an
right.
opportunity, which is pretty good as well. So we want to be in every state.
So initially it was New South Wales, and
Yeah.
now it's the rest of Australia.
I feel like if
Very soon.
we probably still have 1 or 2 shopping centres in Sydney, like in New South Wales, sorry, that we want to be in. But it's just waiting for the right site. Location is everything in these shopping centres. Like, taking a site in the centre is great, and there's heaps of sites available. But if it's not near the right, accompanying brands or the right kind of area, and you get no traffic, there's no thoroughfare, you essentially just open your store to sit there and pray that people are going to come in. And having so many locations, we can't be in every single store every single day trying to drive traffic and come up with strategic ways to bring people in. So sometimes we need stores just to be in a really good spot where people will see it every single day. But yeah, for us, it's not slowing down at all. Like, we want to be the biggest consignment business in Australia.
It's like the Cool Kicks type racking. It's insane. There was a tea shop before this, so I don't know why they needed this. So now, initially, we chopped it up, I filmed a little bit, there's a lot going on, I'm just getting in the way essentially, so I'm like, alright, let me go get some breakfast. I might set up the GoPro and put it on time lapse, right? And I was gone for about 20 minutes. The boys did so much work in 20 minutes. No wonder, like, they are confident they can get this done in a couple of days. Their build out is essentially 3 days. That's insane, right? I wish I kept the time lapse going while I was there fucking around and, talking for a bit longer, because you would have seen the shoes start coming out and more of the process. Because even by the time that I left on the Tuesday, like, so much work had gone into it. How long was I gone? 20 minutes?
Yeah, not long at all, bro.
You guys don't muck around. In terms of consigners, how many consigners would you say you've got? And are there ones that, say have like 10, 20 pairs, and then there's ones that have like 300-400 pairs?
Yeah, there's absolutely some heavy dudes that have hundreds of pairs across the network. We try to primarily just do consignment with bulk consigners, so that we're not fiddling around with 1s and 2s and, you know, under 5s. We still have that across some of the stores for more obscure pairs that no one else has their hands on. But I'd say there's probably 100 people that we have stock from across the network. And those guys are great. Like, we work with I assume some of the guys that have the most stock in the entire country. And they have stock in our stores, they have stock in our competitors and the other consignment stores, which is cool. I think that it's probably smart and strategic as a consignor to have your inventory in a couple of different locations, so you're not solely relying on the one. But, you know, we have a couple of terms with those guys that we're trying to adhere to as well, and the consigners are just as important as our customers. So it's like keeping them happy, obviously keep stock in our stores, and then we can sell it to our customers. So I guess it's just like it's a big chain, that needs to work.
And obviously that seems to be going a lot better than others. I won't mention any names, but there's definitely a company everyone knows where the comments are filled with, you took my shoes, you stole my shoes, and now they're done. You guys seem to be like focused on your consigners, keeping them happy. Yeah,
of course. And I think the other thing is, like I said before, it's just selling what we have on hand. Like, we're not overcommitting, we're giving customers the stock, they're leaving, we know the money is then owed to the guys, and we keep our percentage, but it's really important that we keep guys paid. Some of these guys have huge investments in this stock, and if they lose it all, like we've seen obviously with other guys, like, that's crazy. And the fact that now there's dudes out there chasing 20, 30 grand that they're probably never going to see, if not more, that sucks. So we don't want to be in a position where we're risking people's financial stability. If we're in a position where things start to get choppy or dicey, or there's payments that are delayed or whatever, we're pretty transparent around kind of where we're at. But 9 out of 10 times, it's important to us that we stay up to date with all that stuff as well.
I feel like when you did the Zetland store, you were like, oh, this is what we had prior, and I turned this into that, and this into that. So like, you're using like previous fittings.
Trying to repurpose everything that's in the existing site without having to do crazy work to it. And that lease was only supposed to be a 6-month, and we've stayed on in Zetland. And then this one's a 10 months, but we have the potential to stay long term. So like, for us, it's do a couple of things to this to make it seem a little bit more secure, not so pop-up-y. So we'll paint this, we'll brand in the window, repaint. We've got to paint these black, which kind of sucks. The timing was pretty brutal. I stole these from Champion.
Yeah, word.
From one of their old fit-outs. Repaint this, and then kind of make it happen. But excited, man. So many people from the area like just walking past and like trying to get in, which has been really cool. So I reckon the community will definitely respond well to it.
I see there are a lot of comments where people are like, bring G'd up to Newcastle, bring this. Like G'd up's huge here, so.
G'd up, TNs.
Man.
Obviously Phantoms, ASICs. We'll bring a whole bunch of stuff up from that realm, which is good. I mean, that's primarily what we specialise in through Parramatta and stuff. So, like, we'll kind of just cut that up and get a select assortment for Charlestown. And then also we'll just do like our core, which is like essentials primarily. We'll bring up a whole bunch of like the Nocta collection as well.
Yep.
And I reckon Yeezys will absolutely be a heavy hitter as well. So
Yeezys have never been in this shopping centre.
Yeah.
So like, even like in terms of Foot Locker or anything, like they never got Yeezys. So it'll be interesting to see that, because you definitely see them on people's feet.
Yeah,
but they've never been in this shopping centre before.
So they must be buying them online, or they're trekking it to Sydney to get them.
Yeah.
Whereas, the whole idea of this store is like just to bring everything, accessibility really, to a different kind of, area of Sydney. So they can get their hands on stuff like that instead of paying for it and hoping that it actually gets shipped.
Yeah.
And that's half the game at the moment with these other guys, is like, you pay for it and then you don't see your shoes for like 2 months.
But essentially what you guys do is convenience, right?
Yes.
So people can buy on StockX or whatever, but like, you've got it in your hand today, you can leave with it today.
And that's it, and it's also just for the wider community. Like, we're not just doing it for sneakerheads or people that are in that realm, we're doing it for whatever, like the grandparents walking through the shopping centre that want to buy something for their nephew or their niece, and like, they're never going to be out, they're not going to buy from StockX.
Yeah, they don't know what StockX is.
They're not going to jump on Marketplace and run the risk of being scammed and stuff. So
yeah.
They come through and not only do they leave with the stock, but they also leave educated, hopefully, and the guys can like let them know why things are priced the way they're priced.
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like that's a really important thing.
You guys separate yourselves from like a typical reseller store anyway.
Yeah.
You've seen like most places close down. We've seen a couple go into liquidation and everything. You guys keep opening stores.
Yeah. I think for us, it's like we want to be a hybrid. You know, we want to be, like you said, it's accessibility and it's being able to give the stock to people in hand. But we aren't resellers. Like, yes, technically we are, but like we'd see ourselves as a consignment store, and that's kind of the word we would use in our language as well.
You said once professional middleman.
Yeah, honestly, and I think that's exactly what it is. You know, we're giving access to people for the stock itself, but you know, we're not making crazy margin on this stock. We don't own any of the inventory either, so it's like, you know, we're being a little bit more strategic in the way that we do things, but not owning it means capital's not tied up in inventory. You're not like, you know, you're not putting all your cash into stuff that may not generate a return. But I think, yeah, it is. It's being a professional middleman and giving someone a service. That's kind of the way that we're looking at it.
So I wasn't going to go in today to the Good Kid. I was going to wait until it opened and everything because, you know, we got some good footage of them setting up the time lapse and everything like that. And then Lockie sent me a couple photos and it's pretty much done. So we're going to go in there now. It'll be easier to get, you know, finished shots before all the madness when it opens. So let's go.
James, nice to meet you. I'm Tennessee's delivery manager here, so I kind of get involved with Tennessee coming and going.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I was actually I tried to ring. I think it was Don. So we're pretty like transparent around the sense that this shop is a pop-up model that we will move around until we find the centers we want to be in, and then that's where we'll place a permanent store. So hopefully, you know, if Newcastle gets behind us, then we can stay up here on a 5-6 year, and we'll be the only people that are doing it up in the area. So
yeah, no one's done it before.
And I think that's the objective, is get to untapped areas where we know that people want the stock. They've got the stock. As you said, they're wearing it on body. So I'm like, they're trekking it in.
They're getting it from somewhere.
It online or so yeah. So that's that's pretty much it.
I think as well, like from that, the optics of it is like you're constantly opening a store.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And from that it's just like, oh, these guys are huge.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Whereas like, you know, this one was a pack down from Bondi.
Yeah.
But
it's not giving the illusion that we're continuing.
No, it's not.
We are, but it's definitely giving people the
constantly moving. The brand is constantly moving and growing.
Yeah. And we never stop. Like, we're always moving forward. We're always thinking of like what we can do next, what other areas are untapped, or you know where we can be. And the shopping centres, especially with these guys, have been super collaborative in their efforts to get us in here, and they're excited of the opportunity, and that's great. We want shopping centres to hit us up and want us to be in there, and you know make us a bit of a beacon of a place of destination. So I think the moving pop-up is good, keeps it exciting for us. Definitely has its challenges logistically, but you know we're a small team and we just get it done. And I guess that's the funnest part about it.
So with the giveaway, it's over the opening weekend, yeah?
Yeah, so anyone that purchases with us from Thursday through end of day Sunday goes into the chance to win a PS5, and then the runner-up will also win a $500 pack from us, which is including a GR hoodie, a bunch of sneaker cleaning stuff, and then also a voucher as well.
Awesome.
So that's cool, and then we've got, I think it's maybe 100 comments in like 12 hours or so on our post, which is good. And I think it's just doing good things for us and also for the barbershop next door. But yeah, we're hoping that everyone comes to the opening and comes to see the store. So Yeah, I went through the applicants and stuff.
Yeah.
Got me through CVs. We've got a couple of people come through, which is cool. But I think honestly, I'll probably just cruise around the stores and like just mystery shop some different stores.
Just hijack some people.
See what the vibe is and get some new casuals. Like I don't necessarily need anyone that has crazy experience in like the reselling or like this realm, but I just want good people that seem like they'll put customers first and deliver a decent experience.
See, that was my thing. I was curious about that. Like, retail experience would be great, obviously, but do they need to know, like, if someone picks up a shoe, they know straight away what it is?
Some of our best salespeople in our business don't come from sneakers.
They just naturally can sell ice to an Eskimo.
Yeah, they just literally come from from positions in the past where their whole job was just building rapport and understanding and listening to what the customer kind of wants and needs, and then going out of their way to deliver. And that's all I want, really. Like people that can get down on the brands that we carry and the stock that we carry and understand the vision, absolutely. But we can kind of, we can take them on that journey.
You can create that over time.
It's just finding people that are just good people, generally.
Yeah. And people that want to work.
Yeah, and that's the hardest thing about hiring these days is like people's willingness to actually put in 120%. It's hard to find hard workers these days. So I think
It was the
It'd be funny if you're like, just out of random, nothing to actually do with the hiring process. All right, can you name, like, say 5 of these shoes? It'd be interesting, just out of curiosity.
I reckon it'd be tough. I wouldn't anticipate there being that many people in the centre that maybe have a really big understanding of.
Outside of like maybe workers at Foot Locker or JD or something.
Honestly, just Foot Locker and JD, yeah.
Yeah.
But I reckon I'll just cruise around and kind of see what people are wearing on feet.
Yeah.
See how they're styled themselves and stuff. And ultimately, that's what the job is, right? It's making sure that we can give sound advice to the customers about like what to wear, how to wear it, and then we'll teach them on kind of the background and the silhouettes and the stories behind some of the shoes. And it's just finding someone that will listen and take on advice. Already landed a manager, which is great. That works in the centre.
Oh, okay.
Familiar with the customer and from the area,
so I might know them.
Really excited to see him come on board and kind of own this store as his own. And another really big piece of the puzzle is finding people in the store that's quite far away from where we're based. We need trust and we need people that we know are going to do the brand justice. That's tough.
Talk about the mentality with that. Most resale stores or sneaker stores in general want to be in a CBD, they want to be in the biggest thing. You guys have gone outside the box and come 2 hours north of, say, the CBD.
Yeah.
What was the idea of that? Is that, testing the waters? Is that I want to be first? Is that just a general sense of adventure? Like,
I think it was probably a perfect combination of a bunch of different things, but we always wanted to be the first kind of consignment store to leave Sydney City. And to leave those big suburbs in the west. And Newcastle is probably one of the highest priorities that we have. And we know people up here wear the stock we carry. So, we're just going to give them the ability to come in and grab it at their local shopping centre and go home with it instead of waiting, weeks for it to be delivered. But the sense of community up here is unbelievable. And I think as soon as we posted up like a where should we open our next store, like the comments saying Newcastle, Charlestown, Kitsara, all these different kind of suburbs, it was very clear and evident that a lot of our customers are from up here. So yeah, that's kind of fueled the idea. And also just a better deal, like the rent involved in being in one of those big A-grade shopping centres it's too much. And it's not sustainable unless you exactly know who your target demographic is and who's going to be purchasing your shoes. But we signed on for a year here and we're hoping to stay here long term. That's the objective. Like I said, it's more of a try before we buy, but we're excited to see how it goes.
So do you think, like, based off the initial interaction, that there were a lot of customers of yours already from, say, the website that were based in Newcastle?
Absolutely, and I think we were finding a lot of people in the CBD that were travelling down from, from Newcastle region or, from the Hunter region and the northern beaches, and they were coming down just to grab stuff they couldn't get from home. So we're just cutting out that travel and that commute. And yeah, I guess opening up in a local mall was the right thing to do. So in a way, there was a bit of theory behind it, based on the amount of comments we had and the interaction we had with people asking for us to be up here. But then it was just secured, I guess, with the excitement of us announcing that we're opening in Charlestown, and how very quickly those posts become, some of our highest engagement posts for quite some time. So I think that was just...
That's a good indicator.
Yeah, that was confirmation that we had made the right decision. And then the absolute, tick of approval definitely comes from that revenue per week. But, we've done the numbers and we know kind of what we need to do here, and we're pretty confident in our ability to make it happen.
With multiple stores, how hard is it to maintain stock?
Stock's never been a crazy issue. I think we have kind of key stores that we hold most of our inventory in. So the logistics of it is, as it sells through in a store, we'll go to those high inventory stores and we'll ship it out, next day or same day to the store that needs it. But the consigners are quite quick and fast on inventory, and a lot of the boys are holding stock. So we say, hey, we need so-and-so in Parramatta tomorrow. Someone will have it in the country and they'll get it to us, whether it's shipping it from Perth or whether it's shipping it from Queensland or just driving it down to the store themselves. We've never had any crazy issues with stock at the moment, which is really good for us.
That's one thing I've always wondered, just given the whole consignment format, is like, it must be work constantly doing it. But I guess if you've got those handful of consigners that are just always on top of it regardless, that makes it easier.
And we have one of the boys that specialises in the consignment space, so he is constantly in touch with the boys to check what stock they're holding, what's getting harder to obtain. So I guess as a collective, they also judge the market, and they kind of help us gauge our pricing as well. Because if there's a particular shoe, for example, that's getting really hard to get,
but you're selling out every week,
to get it, the boys will know that we'll probably have to up the price point, because it's becoming quite difficult to obtain. So that's kind of fun as well. Like some shoes that we get in, we see nothing in it. We see a shoe that we're like, this will be a slow burner, and then someone will post it, like a celebrity will start running it, and all of a sudden we've sold out.
The Kardashians did that for a minute with shoes. Yeah. Taylor Swift's doing it with New Balance at the moment. It's crazy. It's a crazy world we live in.
And I think it's just like trend forecasting as well, and trying to be ahead of that. So if we see someone or something getting around a fair bit, try and obtain as much inventory as we can get prior to it becoming such a big icon.
What's the biggest shift you've seen in the last, say, couple of years in terms of style?
Style, I think it just comes through in, there's obviously waves that it comes through in, but we were going through a massive Jordan 4 period at the start, and that kind of simmered down, the rise of Jordan 1. That simmered down, Yeezy's come through, and then it was the return of Jordan 4. It was like there's never a shoe that kind of slows up and doesn't come back.
Yeah.
And we don't necessarily...
It's like a cycle, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can almost project when it's going to happen. If chunky silhouettes are starting to come through, the Jordan 4 is going to reappear.
Yeah.
Like, where's one of the most iconic kind of chunky shapes. But yeah, I think for us it's just continuing to adapt to what the market's chasing and what they're after. We're seeing a big rise through the likes of Asics and those more running silhouettes, whereas traditionally consignment stores were the Dunks and the Jordans and stuff. But our competitors have hit it on the head. It's like the Asics thing is unbelievable. And I think going through like the Quantums and all those other, kind of, as I said, like the running silhouettes, they're smashing it. And we're getting on it now, but historically we're better at Dunks, we're better at Jordans, we're better at that kind of stuff. So just adapting and changing our stock package based on what it is that the consumer wants in that area. So that's what we're excited about for Charlestown, is we don't know what the consumer's necessarily going to lean to straight away. But whatever they pick up in the first 2 weeks, we'll back the truck up and get as much of that as we can in here so we can service the needs of the customer.
I want to say Essentials and Yeezy, this will be the first time that that'll be on shelf in Newcastle.
Yep.
Probably G'd Up and Nocta as well.
Yep.
Certain Jordans obviously came through, like Midnight Navies I picked up in store here.
Yeah.
Fire Red 4s maybe.
Yep.
But like you're offering something they've never seen before, so it is like that leap of faith, but you're already seeing people like walk in and being captivated by the Yeezy.
Absolutely.
wall,
I mean,
so.
Even yesterday being on site, just setting up the racking and have 10, 15 people try and get in the shop as if they were ready to go. But for these guys having the barber next door, as soon as we announced that we're opening, it's like he's our #1 fan. He wants to get us in here and wants to cross collaborate and help each other's customers. So yeah, I think it's been really cool because that's just happened itself.
Well, I actually got someone screenshotted the post he did.
Yeah.
Because I know we'd already talked about Newcastle.
Yep.
Someone screenshotted the post he did and then sent it to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I've known about this for a while. One of my mates, he's like, oh really?
Well, I think it's good. Like our posts may have not necessarily reached the community around here. So having someone like that.
But his customer base is going to be from here. Yeah.
So as he posted, it's like all of a sudden we gain, an extra 50 or so followers of people straight away, almost 2 days in, of people that are from the area that would be our locals, that would be our regulars, and that's kind of cool to see as well. So where we can, we'll try and do some partnerships with other businesses around. Even local brands, like yesterday we had stock dropped off from a local brand that's we haven't had before. Which is a brand called By Tie Don. It is a newer regular. He's dropped off a couple of samples of some bits and pieces that he does, but been following this guy for like 12 months and his stock's unbelievable.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
So yeah, this is kind of like the...
You're already up on Newcastle stuff more than me.
Yeah, so...
Oh yeah, that's dope.
Really nice tees, really nice block. The hand feels like incredible.
The Rodman tee. Yeah.
We're excited to get this.
The packaging's dope too. Yeah.
Everything's clean.
Yeah.
Definitely has a certain aesthetic. So again, it's just meeting a local brand owner that wants to get involved and help the cause, and we want to support him as well. So I think he's teamed up with us to do some giveaways in the next week or so as well. So
yeah, nice.
Give away some stock, get some of this on body and do some promotion.
So we've gone over just about everything. You've seen some fit outs, you've seen some custom painting, you've seen the boys putting out stock, you've seen, tradies coming and going, people from the center, conversations like that, talks of staff, talks of just about everything, and even just knowing your location and how each location can be different based on the demographic. All those things and more. One thing that is left is to go check it out. Check out the store as it opens. So let's do that now.
No, I'm gonna be
Shawty come sit on my lap. Hey, they say a jersey to snap. This in between us is not like
Hey guys, so we've just opened up in Charlestown, Good Kid, come and check us out. So we've got a whole bunch of stuff, obviously like G-Dub, Jordans, Dunks. We're here for the next 12 months, so get behind us and we'll support you guys.
Crazy to see a store like this in Newcastle. Usually you got to go all the way to Sydney. So in Charlestown Square right now, get down, check it out. Stuff you can't see anywhere else, stuff that's sold out, everything like that. So Charlestown Square now officially open. I purposely didn't want to be doing too much of this just so we can showcase everything in its rawest form. And if I was to go through and just post everything within the conversations that me and Lockie had, you're gonna get like an hour episode. So I've chopped it up, given you the good bits, the things that give you that insight of how to open a sneaker store, because not everyone can do it. And I feel like the rise of the consignment store has a part to play in that, right? You can't just go out and get a Nike contract. You know, you might be able to get a New Balance, a Saucony, maybe an Asics, maybe even Adidas, but Nike is a completely different beast. Even I worked for a company for years. You had to order X amount every month, every quarter to maintain that Nike contract. Now, the one that I was with is one of the first Nike contracts in Australia. They still have that type of pressure to deliver. So it's crazy to see what the boys have been able to do in a small space. They're constantly evolving, constantly moving, and they've got this try before you buy type concept where they go in for a small lease initially, see how it works. Is that where we want to be? All right, let's keep it pushing and move it. So they've had, I want to say about 8 stores, but they currently have 5, right? They packed up the Bondi store and brought that to Newcastle. It obviously, with that model, they're constantly moving and evolving, even though they are sticking with around 5 stores. Now, they're aiming to be Australia-wide at some point. But yeah, shout outs to the boys from the Good Kid. Had a very interesting experience, like being able to see on the ground level. And the other part of that too is, like, I've come from a retail background. I haven't really done much in the consignment resale space. That is going to be here forever. I've said constantly that, you know, stores like this that can curate a space like that, there's something to be admired for it. Like, just being able to maintain the stock and everything like that. To have multiple stores, it's insane. So it's crazy to see from the ground level that get built, and I got a brand new sneaker store locally. Maybe we talk to the boys and we can film some content there more often. Maybe we do stuff with, you know, new releases, be able to do reviews from there. Who knows? We'll have to see what happens. But this has been another episode of Creased. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. We'll be back twice a week. Peace.